Hello and welcome. Oh, yes, new screen, new layout. You're in different places. And welcome. My name is Rihanna, and today I will share with you loving the hearts already. I didn't do anything, I just came online. Thank you. And thank you for being there too. Today, I would love to know who you are, where you're from. That to begin, to kind of know who's here and yeah. Hello, Patricia from Canada. Welcome, welcome. You were here last time as well. I remember that. I remember your icon. I love to see the icons that I remember at some point. Today we're gonna. Hello, Uli. You are also here more often. Today we're gonna do a standing practice. It's been cold here, and I think it's been cold all over Europe. At least I'm in Europe. I think in Canada it's also cold from the people that I know in Canada. So I think it's cold in a lot of places on the northern hemisphere, because I also know that in Australia and stuff it's summer now. So we're going to do a practice to work a bit on the joints. This is a great practice in the morning to wake up. It's also a great practice in the afternoon or in the evening before bed or after work, or when you've been like this all day, or whatever you do all day. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So let's start. I will be standing. Got my socks on to keep my feet warm, because it's important to keep the feet warm when it's cold. So to begin, instead of a lying check-in that we normally do, we're going to do it standing up. So just notice your feet on the ground. Notice whether you like to be like with the feet close together, a little bit wider apart, or maybe even a little bit wider apart. Just notice what for you works well. And just feel your feet here. And kind of imagine or kind of feel into how you think your feet are standing without looking yet. So just kind of have an idea if what you think is happening is actually what is happening. Because often it's like, no, I'm all straight and it's all good. But sometimes when we really check ourselves, that's not really the case. Could I turn the volume up? I don't know if I can do that more. Give me a sec. I don't think so. I think I'm already all the way up. I don't know if I can. No, I can't put it lower. Oh, or maybe. Wrong microphone. There we go. This should be better. Sorry. Is this better? Yes. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, it was on the webcam audio, which is really crazy. Hey Sophie, welcome. Hey Judy. Hey Kirsten. Chile, Texas. So all Chile. All right, now you can hear me. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, it was automatic settings. Anyway, we were standing, and just notice where you want to place your feet, and then just feel your feet. Notice how you think your feet are, and then you can just have a check to see if what you think your feet are doing is actually what's happening. So maybe you think like, oh yeah, my feet are straight, pointing straight forward, and then you look down and you're like pointing out to the side, or maybe one foot is pointing forward and the other is pointing to the side, and maybe you have the feeling that they're straight forward. So to kind of give that awareness of like, okay, what am I feeling? Oh, blizzardy Toronto, that sounds cold. So to check with what are you feeling and what's actually happening. That's like step one in therapeutic yoga. It's like sometimes we do things in our normal way, and then once we get more hands-on and like feel our own body, that's why online work works really well, and like here also, because you have to become aware of your body. Of course I could help you if I'll be able to touch you. But if you can touch yourself, or if you can check yourself, then that is much more helpful, because then you get your awareness trained and your feedback of like, okay, I thought I was standing straight, but my foot is actually turned. So that's the practice. And then just kind of feel, am I with my weight more in my heels, more towards my toes? You can also rock a little bit forwards and backwards to kind of notice like, okay, this is what it feels like when I move my weight forwards. And this is what it feels like when I move my weight back. It's raining here, so there's some background ticking, just so you know. And also, don't just notice your feet alone, but notice the response in your body. Like maybe if you have your weight more in your heels, you might be feeling that you kind of like getting this archy stance of like, you know, to balance out that the pelvis is going forward, then the shoulders have to go back to be able to be in line with gravity. Because otherwise you're like this and you'll be falling forward. And the same is when you're standing on your toes. When it goes forward, you could be arching, or you could be like sticking your bum out a bit and leaning forwards. So just kind of notice what's happening. Maybe you have more weight in one foot than the other. And that's also the great thing about being able to see yourself. I mean, I can see myself. You cannot see yourself on the screen, unfortunately. But maybe you have a mirror nearby and you can see yourself. So maybe you can actually notice like, oh, if I look at myself and I put a straight line through my middle, then everything is more like to one side. Or no, I'm actually pretty balanced out. Or maybe you notice that one shoulder is going all the way up to your ear and it feels like it's not. So all these little things that we can already see is like, you know, these ideas of, oh, relax your body. But it's like, but you know, if your shoulders are always here and this feels relaxed or as relaxed as it can be, then you don't have any message on that. Yeah, just relax your shoulders, because like, yeah, but this is it. So that's where movement comes in. It's not about stretching, it's about movement, about contracting and being able to let go and being aware of that and feeling that. So we're not going to do too much. Well, we are going to do a little bit of that. So as you feel your feet now, also notice your breathing. As you feel where the weight is in your body, is it in your heels, is it in your toes? What happens to your belly? Is that kind of like sucked in? And that might be for many reasons. That might be because you have a belly and you're like, oh my God, I have a belly and I don't want it to show, which, you know, valid reason. Or maybe there's tension and your belly is the place where we're just kind of like holding our shit together, basically. Or maybe it's something else. Who knows? Sunny warm. Oh, I want sunny warm. That sounds nice. Oh, thank you for the wishes. I think everyone will be happy. Well, I mean, seasons are seasons. We also have to respect the seasons. That's also very true. So yeah, just notice, are you kind of able to relax your belly? And maybe you have also an awareness of your pelvic floor. Maybe not at all, but if you do, what is happening there as you're standing? Is that all like being squeezed together, or is there a softness in there? And I'm like, okay, the ground is here to support me. That is always an idea for me that works really well. Whether I'm sitting or standing or lying down, it's like, okay, the ground is here. I can be held by the ground. So just notice if that does anything for you. If there's anything else that works for you in kind of softening your or letting go of, like maybe you're bracing, or if you tend to be a bit of an anxious person. I used to be a very anxious person, had a lot of anxiety. But how is that present in your body? Like this, it's like, oh, I'm like anxious and like lifting myself up, all squeezed together. And can there be like, oh no, there's like ground and there's space around me that can hold me. So a little bit of that idea, and it might be very small, very subtle, and it's all good. Also, if it doesn't work, maybe you're like, yeah, nice try. And that's where we are, and that's okay. So to start, slide bend in the knees. Yeah, that can be very helpful. Yeah, to kind of there can be this tendency, you know, of like, okay, I'm standing and like all straight and up and upright. But yeah, can these upper legs in the end let go? So it's not like we're standing like this, but it's like a micro bend, my teachers always call it. So yeah, that's a good one. And so from here, we're going to start with the ankles. So I'll show it from the side. You're going to step 1 foot back. Sorry for all the noise. You can still hear me well. So you can still step 1 foot back. So make sure your standing leg is firm and is strong into the ground. If you need a chair or a wall to support you, make sure you have that nearby. And we're going to circle. We're going to circle the whole upper leg, which is going to make it that you're rolling over your toes. So allow your toes to kind of fold on the ground, which might be a bit uncomfortable, especially if you've never done this before and your toes are a bit rigid. And this might be a bit sensitive, so don't force anything. Be nice to yourself, but do allow your foot and your ankle to go through a whole range of motion as you're just kind of like moving the upper leg, this leg bone, around. So this is rolling, and because your toes are touching the ground, you're going to roll over your feet. Ooh, near toes. Okay, so yeah, be gentle. So always here, don't do anything that makes you hurt. So maybe you can stay on your toes a bit and just move your ankle. See what's possible for you without going into the pain. That's cool. I also do, but I do struggle a little bit with the noise. It's like, can they hear me? Because I can barely hear myself. And turn the other way. So with all the movements we're doing today, it's a joint care sequence. Care for your joints. Don't hurt them. So notice what is available for you. Which movements, which range of motion you have, which might be a lot smaller than what I have, and that's okay. Also, don't overdo it. Don't overstretch things. If you have a tendency to be hypermobile, actually do a little bit less. And kind of really focus on feeling like, where are those small signals that are telling me like, oh, you're actually doing too much. Which might be barely noticeable, but do less and try to feel that instead of going to the edge and feeling that. So don't, if you have a tendency to be very mobile, okay, stand on 2 feet again because my standing leg is getting tired. So if you have a tendency to be very mobile, do a little bit less and focus on feeling the movement. So standing back on 2 feet again, noticing a little bit of difference, 1 foot and the other. And then we switch sides. So other foot, let's do it like this, other foot steps back, and again, you're gonna circle the upper leg with the tippy toes on the ground. And either you kind of roll over your toes, let them fold, and if that's available to you, or be on your toes and just make ankle circles, but still try to make the movement from the upper leg. So the ankle is kind of following the movement of the upper leg. It's not like you kind of moving your ankle. It's more of a full leg movement, if that makes sense. Ooh. So again, make sure your standing leg is strong. Don't overstretch your knee, because this is also a very easy one to be like, oh, I'm overstretching my knee and I'm leaning into that. Have this leg be strong. As in, don't lock the leg, and really feel that this leg is supporting your whole body, bringing balance. That way it's not just a joint care thing, it's actually also kind of a strengthening and balancing thing for the standing leg. As I was saying before, my leg was getting tired. Turning the other way, if you haven't done that already. And just notice, maybe one ankle has much more mobility than the other. And that's okay, you know, we're not symmetrical. Or at least, most of us aren't. Alright, come back to standing. take a breath. And just notice, how do my feet feel? How do my toes feel? My legs feel? Maybe if your feet were a bit cold, they're now maybe getting a little bit warmer. Or maybe they were cold and you just didn't feel anything and you still don't feel anything. That can happen. Alright, then for the next movement, you can place your hands on your hips. And we're going to do a little bit of a salsa hip thingy. So bend your knees a little bit. It's like you're sitting down a little bit. And from here, you're going to circle your hips around. So you're going to tilt them forward, tilt them to one side, tilt them backwards, tilt them to the other side. Sorry about that. And so with tilting into all those directions, you're going to have a circling movement. So you're just circling in one direction with your knees bent, and notice if your whole body is kind of circling, which is something that I see a lot, or if you can leave your shoulders stable as they are and really focus on your hips and your lower back, and like using this whole center of your being, all your core muscles, which is not just your six-pack, whether you have it or not, but all those muscles, your waist, your lower back, and see how you can make that circle with your pelvis. Having your feet firmly in the ground, so really feel again that support of the ground. And then circle the other way, because we have this tendency to go in one direction, which is like, oh, this is easy, I can do this. And then you go the other way, and it's like, what is this? I never do this. And it might feel a little bit weird. That's okay. So again, notice whether there's this tendency of moving the whole torso, which, you know, now my pelvis is moving, but it's kind of moving through space. This is almost, if you look at where movement's happening, it's almost more an ankle movement. A little bit of the knees and a little bit around the pelvis. The relationship between my pelvis and my lower ribs is there's not anything happening. So if we make it more precise and focus on the pelvis, then my ankles are just ever so slightly moving because my knees are bending alternately. But the relationship from my pelvis and my lower ribs, that is changing constantly. From the front to the sides to the back and the other side. And my upper body is relaxed. There's nothing wrong with the other movement, it's just a different movement. And I would like you to try if you're capable of doing this movement. And see how it feels. And then come back to standing. We can actually, we can just now again tune in. How does that feel? How does it feel for the belly? How does it feel for the lower back? For those of you with lower back tension, how was this? For those of you who feel that their belly can be tense, how is that? How do you now relate to the weight in your feet and how your body stacks on top of that? So just a little check-in. How's your breath? I didn't mention it, but breathe. Be aware of still breathing, because especially if you're making movements that might be a bit uncomfortable, then that might be stopping you from breathing. Then again, you can place your hands back on your hips, and we're going to make the same movement, but we're going to lift it up a little bit. So instead of moving with the pelvis, we're going to circle the upper body in relation to the lower body, which for me was something I've started doing a while back, and it's still a little bit weird. So it's also, you open to the front, you open to a side, you open to the back, and you open to the other side. Thinking about your heart or your breastbone, however you want to see that. Your pelvis stays, it can move a bit, but it's really to focus on moving, circling your ribs in relation to your pelvis. And your head can kind of wobble along with that. Shoulders move a little bit. And see if you can turn this, because I'm going like not in a circle. It's like an oval kind of egg, whatever shape. So just notice. Can you make it a bit more circular? Can you do 5% less effort but still do the same movement? Are you still breathing? Can you feel your feet supporting the ground? Can you turn in the other direction? So yeah, your pelvis is moving a bit, it's tilting a bit. But see if you can focus on the breastbone basically. And notice if maybe your shoulders are crawling up, because it's like, what am I doing? Or maybe this is super easy for you, like I don't see what the fuss is about, which could also be. I think for people who do a lot of hula hooping, who are really good at that, they know this movement. I'm not, I can do my hip hula hoops, but not up in the chest. Or at least I haven't tried for a long time, let's say that. All right, it's getting me warm. And again, check in, notice. How does that feel? How does that land? How is your body stacking? And again, you can also kind of look down, you know, can you see your toes? Can you not see your toes? That also depends obviously on the shape of your body. Can you maybe move forwards and backwards again and just notice like, okay, where is it going? Can maybe look alongside your body and see if there's any bends or curls happening. And how is your breathing? Then we're going to move on with the shoulders. There's different ways of working with the shoulders. If your shoulder is sensitive, you can place your hand on your shoulder and rotate your arm like this. This way, it's a smaller rotation. If this causes discomfort, then just see what range of motion you have with just circling the shoulder like that. If you're okay and nothing is creating discomfort and also not any weird clicking and cracking sounds, then you can circle your arm like this. And again, notice whether as you circle your arm, don't go too fast. If you're kind of like, I want to have my arm all the way back, which you know you can do, but now I'm also twisting, which is fine, but it's good to notice. So if I'm not wanting, if I just want to move my arm, then it's more like my arm going out to the side because it just can't go further back, or at least not in my body. Again, if you're hypermobile or if you've dislocated your shoulder, do less and really focus on feeling what you're doing. Make it like a big circle. Notice as your arm goes up, your waist kind of opens up. Not that you lean to the side to make this happen, like this is also a way of doing it, but just focus on your arm. See if that's available to you. Maybe you notice that, you know, at some point your arm won't go up more, but then if you do this, it feels like it goes up more. But if you would be straight, your arm would just be shoulder height. So just kind of notice if there are any ways that your body's kind of cheating you into thinking you're doing more, and see if you can be honest with yourself. You know, if this is it, then this is it, and that's okay. Work with that, and if you work with that, then maybe more space will become available. If you're like, no, but I'm just going to do it like this, because then I at least have the feeling that my arm goes up, then at some point you might get issues in your spine because that's compensating a movement that you're just actually not able to make, but you want to make anyway. And that's where trouble starts to happen. And turn your arm backwards. There's a lot of forward rolling of the shoulders already, and most of our daily activities, there's not so much backward rolling, unless you're a backstroke swimmer, but I doubt that we have many of those here that do that all the time. But you never know. And just notice what else is happening. So again, can you feel your feet on the ground? Can you feel that support, that stability? And circle your arms a few times forward, not that many, but just notice how that movement is actually different. And then relax. And just notice the difference between one arm and the other. I have kind of a feeling that this arm is now hanging 10 centimeters lower. And actually, when I look at it, it looks like it's a little bit lower than the other one. And my arm's warm, so that's nice. Then the other arm, circle it backwards. Again, if you don't have a big range of motion, you can either just roll your shoulder or just bring your hand to your shoulder. I can't do that with this arm because I don't have that mobility. So make the movement to a range of motion where it doesn't hurt, it doesn't create discomfort, and it's not making any weird noises. If it's making weird noises, make the movement smaller and just play in that range, maybe kind of exploring whether you slowly can make the movement bigger without those noises happening. And again, notice whether you want to turn your whole body, which is fine, but sometimes it can kind of take away from the backward opening sensation in the chest because you're already turning, so it's like, my arm's already back. So again, it's not about a huge stretch. Don't get me wrong on that. It's really about inviting movement and playing with ranges of motion that you have that don't create discomfort. And also, again, notice if you might be bending sideways as you do this, and see if you cannot do that. Can you just move your arm bone in the shoulder socket? And notice how all the fascia and the muscles in your torso are kind of responding to that. Maybe you can even feel, as your arm reaches up and back, a little bit of opening across the front leg or across the opposite hip. Maybe at some point your shoulder starts to burn a little bit. I feel a little bit of tension in my neck that now is being moved. So it's like, oh wow, I'm used to being stuck and being tense, and now I'm asked to move and I don't know how to do that. So, whoa. And then circle a few times forwards. And notice how that's different. As you turn backwards, there's more of this maybe opening sensation in the front of the body, but as you turn forward, it might relocate a bit more to the back of the body, which could be nice, a nice feeling for the lower back. So it's a different movement. And then relax. Shake it off a little bit. All right. Then again, find your stance. Notice your body. Sense your feet on the ground. Sense your whole body. If you take a deep breath, do you notice that maybe your body's kind of relocating itself? Filling up the space in your whole torso. Your ribs kind of expanding in all directions, forwards, backwards, sideways. Not just in the chest, but also around the lower ribs. For those of you who've practiced with me before, your hands on the lower ribs and then expanding in that direction. Can you feel that? Also in the back where the kidneys are. And then from here we continue with movement of the head. So you can either have your hands alongside your body or on your hips, and you're gonna watch, or you're gonna look over or look towards your left shoulder, look down, and then look over your right shoulder, and then look back, down. So we're not going to look up, we're just going to look down and to the sides, because looking up often results a bit in tension in the neck. Nothing wrong with looking up, but we're just inviting movement now in the neck muscles in this way. And again, don't go and pull on those upper back muscles by forcing your head to really look over your shoulder a lot. Notice also if you're kind of like turning your whole body along, or again, if you can just move your head. Maybe your shoulder is kind of coming up or down or forwards or backwards. See if you can feel that. And if you can just focus on moving only your head. Breathe. Feel your feet on the ground. Don't force anything, but invite movement. Stretching is kind of exciting for the nervous system, which then is not a signal for it to relax. Movement where you don't push boundaries can actually be very soothing for the nervous system, and through that can actually allow tension to let go. So tension is not something you can let go of, but you can respect your body's boundaries so that your nervous system doesn't get too excited and it can actually relax. Which doesn't mean that stressing your system is always bad. Your body needs that. Your bones need that. If you don't stress your bones ever, you're going to get floppy bones. But your body definitely needs to be able to let that go again, to relax fully. Notice if you're kind of arching your back or creating tension in your belly as you make this movement. Can you go back to your feet? Feel the support of the ground. And then end in the middle and lift your head up. And we're back. Again, take a moment to notice, to feel. Notice your breath. Notice if maybe something in your shoulders has reorganized. Maybe an openness in your chest, a length in your back. There's always this question, what am I supposed to feel? I don't know. Depends. What do you feel? Let's start there. That's a good beginning. Knowing that you can feel things, because that is where it all starts. If you can't feel anything, then that's step one. Can you feel your feet on the ground? Can you feel your body breathing itself? And then from here, again, your feet are very important. It's your connection with the ground, so feel that support of the ground again. And from there, from your feet, you're going to initiate a movement of turning. So your arms are going to be like ropes along your body. And from your feet, you're just going to push in one foot and in the other. Your knees are ever so slightly bent again. Well, maybe a little bit more bent. And then your arms are like ropes. So you don't turn your arms and kind of do this where it just gets stuck in your belly, but it's your feet that make this movement happen. So notice how your feet are pushing and pulling and kind of responding to the rest of your body following this movement. Imagining your arms as being ropes that come out of your shoulders that kind of go around your body. Your knees bending a bit. And kind of see if you can allow the twist to go mostly into your spine. So your pelvis doesn't have to like go all the way to the side, because then you can also notice your knee maybe dropping a bit in and you're rolling to the inside of your foot and the outside of the other foot, which is okay, but it might be a bit forceful on the knees. So notice if you can really focus on pelvis and up to allow the twist to land in there, using kind of the spinning action of your arms to deepen the twist if that's available. Don't force anything. If it does feel uncomfortable for your knees, you can always allow your toe to come onto your toe and allow your leg to circle inwards. But if you can stand on 2 feet, that's also good. And really notice the multitude of bones and joints that are in your feet. It's a very complex structure. Notice how that is working to make this movement happen. Just breathe and keep coming back to relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your arms. Notice if you're arching your back or curling it. Notice where your head is. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable. If that makes you dizzy or unstable, then keep your eyes open. Allow your head to turn. Well, you can either allow your head to turn with the movement, or you can allow the head to face forward, which then kind of creates a counter twist around the neck, which can also be a very interesting and nice movement to make. So just notice what feels right for you to do. Allow your belly to be soft, or as soft as you can have it. You can't force any tension to not be there. So no need to get frustrated about things that our body doesn't want to do, because it's not doing that to protect you. It has really good reasons to do that. And it will need time and attention and some proper loving to maybe get to where you want to be. And that's okay. Your body has carried you through to where you are now, which might have been an immense journey. And you're here. That's amazing. And then as a boat comes into the harbor, you don't stop all of a sudden, because a boat can't just stop all of a sudden. You slowly allow yourself to come to stillness. And then if you haven't already, you can close your eyes a moment. And again, just notice your body. Maybe notice the after effect of this spinning motion. That even though you are standing still, that your internal sensor is still kind of sensing motion. Feel the strength in your legs, the balance in your feet, the ever so slightly bent in your knees, or at least that they're not locked. Noticing if there's any tension in your legs that you can kind of soften because of your pelvis being above your heels, your shoulders being above that, and your head being above that. The more you are in line with gravity, the less your body has to do to stand up, because everything just kind of falls in place. Which doesn't mean it's something you can force to happen. You can't force yourself to be in line with gravity, because then you're wasting a lot of energy on doing that. But just notice, where can I soften? Where can I let go? What is available? All right. For the final movement, coming a little bit closer so you can see what we're doing. I'm going to show it from the side. You're going to stick your butt out to the back, so your knees and ankles are kind of sort of going to stay on top of each other. Your hands can be on your knees, but without hanging in them. So there's no weight in your hands. Your hands are just here to keep your knees in place. Your feet can be either together, or a little bit apart. Depends on what's comfortable for you. And then from here, you can imagine your tail. I know you don't have one, or probably don't have one. You never know. And imagine that there's a pen on this tail, and you're going to draw a circle on an imaginary canvas behind you. The idea is that you're not going to circle your knees as well. That's why your hands are here, to keep your knees in place. So you're going to have to hold your spine up and kind of make this snake-like movement. You're rounding your spine and you're arching your spine, and you're kind of shortening one waist, rounding it, shortening the other waist, arching it. And this is a pretty intense movement. So don't worry if you feel like, oh my God, this is exhausting. If you've never done this, this is pretty exhausting. So again, notice whether you're going to kind of hang in your arms, because this is a lot easier. So hold your body up. So your hands, maybe just put your fingertips on your knees so that you're not cheating. No cheating allowed here. And just really find those muscles in your lower back, in your belly, in your waist. You can allow your shoulders to come along a little bit with the ride. And turn the other way. And breathe. Feel your feet firmly in the ground. They are your support, your base. And just kind of juicify your torso. Yes, it's juicy and it's spicy and it's all those things. Amazing. I'm happy you feel that too. And it's also a little bit exhausting. Especially if we have like tension in the lower back. It can be like these back muscles are like, what? I need to work. So come back to standing. Whew. Yes, I love it. It's one of my favorites, and it's one you can practice. So again, come to standing. Check in again. It's not twerking, but kind of maybe ish. But we call it yoga, and then it's all good. So yeah. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath. I'm noticing my breath is a little bit more fast. A little bit faster than it was. It's like, what did you do? But I was also talking. This doesn't help. Feel your heartbeat. Maybe your heartbeat's like, whoa. That was an exercise. Maybe now there's also this more sensory experience in your lower back of like, okay, you know, as I'm standing, I actually, and maybe it's pretty small, have this tendency of like, just like tilting my pelvis forwards. And I'm not saying to tuck your tailbone. Don't do that, because that's like, or you tilt it forward or you tilt it backwards. That's like force either way. Doesn't matter which direction it's in. It's not helpful. But can it soften? Can it just kind of be long? Which is not tucked in, because then your belly gets soft, gets tight. So can your belly be soft, but can your lower back also be soft? Or softer? All right. Then find a position to sit that's comfortable. Then bring your hands wherever you want to bring them. On your belly, on your heart, in front of your heart, on your legs, alongside your body, wherever. And I'd like to close this practice by chanting the mantra Om once. So exhale fully and inhale deeply. And just take a moment to thank your amazing body for bringing you here, for showing you its limits, whether you like it or not, for listening as best as you can, and for practicing today with me and with everyone else who's here. Thank you.